Good day and welcome. My name is Drake598Shadow and I'm here today to give you a tutorial on Chapter 7 of Space Hulk Deathwing. As you can see, we are playing on the hardest difficulty today. It is a co-op multiplayer game with up to 4 people. I am just playing solo here today for demonstration purposes. And on Chapter 7, because the first target is a Broodlord, or one of the first targets is a Broodlord, I will be using the Assault class, just to get that done quicker. So we'll get stuck into this match.
We learned something terrible from the Tech Marines when they examined this second swarm of enemy. The conservation store had not been the only place that held our gene seed. The xenos themselves had taken it into their bodies, corrupting it with their own alien gene code. Their brood lair aboard Caliban's will had been created in defense of the source of their lifeblood, the Dark Angel gene seed contained in the vault. This brood of gene stealers had to be prevented from reuniting with the Tyranid fleet, lest our heritage be turned into some fresh abomination. We could not let that which our Creator made for the defense of mankind be turned against his faithful people. Though hybrid Xenos attempted to launch savior pods containing their alien kin, we cut off the pod deployment and kept safe the blood heritage of Caliban.
Depending on your squad composition, depends on how you might want to proceed through this map. I'm just going to go the most direct route. It's not the safest, but it is the quickest by far, and I'll point out some of the safer routes along the way. Some of the things that I've made note of in previous videos
seal off the Caliban's will and prevent further incursions.
Is that your health pool is separated into body segments, sort of like the old Mech Warriors game. So you have a left arm, a right arm, legs, torso and head, and they can be damaged individually, and the blue bar on the right hand side is your stamina bar, dictating how far you can run. You'll see that deplete as we go along. Down there you can get a Broodlord or Cypher spawn, very common, especially on the harder difficulties. Okay. As you can see, you can get shooters spawning down these little side tunnels here, as well as psychers, so be aware of that. Should be good to proceed there, unless I run into one of those kamikazes. And I'm going to lock this door up, just so I have a safe spot. We do come back this way, but you will have another door beyond that point to lock up for safety when we come back. Okay, so we'll proceed down here. I like to take the high road rather than the low road. It is a bit easier and safer. The big things can not get to you really there. There is a turret there that will become active upon our return, but being in close combat right now, I cannot deal with that. So I'm just locking up that spawn point and proceeding down here. On that spire there in the center, you can get shooters and psychers spawn. Be aware of that. I'm not going to lock that door, I'm just going to close it. That will give me a few extra seconds while I grab this relic. And we'll proceed back out and lock it. Depending on your squad, you could have someone standing by to lock it for you. You don't want to lock yourself in there, as there's a spawn point there. And you do want to make sure to lock it, as on our return, it is very, very common for a cypher to spawn in that room. So we'll lock that up. You can get Broodlords and Cyphers spawning here as well. There are quite a lot of spawn points for those on this map in particular. So we're going to lock the door to the right hand side, where I very rarely go. The only reason you might need to bust that out is to escape from something big, I suppose. So through here to the centre, we'll find the third relic of the map. As I said, this is the most direct route. Not particularly the safest, but so long as you have a decent squad, you can get through it pretty easily. Be sure to lock this door behind me, as it is common for ciphers to spawn in that room as well on our return. So we'll continue up here through this door on the front, and lock this one behind us. That turret you do not really have to worry about too much, as it does not become active at any point where we are running through this area. You can just as easily kill it for the extra kill. You want to side skirt around the right hand side of the room, not going towards the activation beacon, as you will spawn a broodlord up in the centre around there. If you were running a shooting squad, you would want to come up this staircase here and platform and lock the door on the end. That would give you a safe engagement spot to fight the broodlord from, as he cannot gain access up here. You will still have to fight smaller mobs at the entrance, but you can even do melee attacks from this sort of height here on the middle ledge. You can even get him glitched up there in some cases, and he will not be able to move. So we're going to proceed over here and trigger this. You'll see him pop out of the ground about there.
Exterminate it immediately.
I normally let him do his little roar first, so that I am sure that he is no longer invulnerable. You saw him do his psychic attack behind me there, so I'm just going to come in and hopefully finish him off fairly quickly here. We're then going to proceed to run over to this activation beacon, trigger that, and personally I'm going to run down this side, just because it's a little bit faster. And you get a bit of cover from that, I suppose, a train kind of point. As you can see, that's now gone down, so we just have to run over here, get that one, and that will be all the waves finished with. And that will open up a portal. And at this point, I'm going to change class back to the Apothecary for the rest of this mission.
Find them.
As I can still get broodlords and ciphers spawn, they are no longer primary objectives. So our next objective beyond that point will be heading to kill some psychers. So the first psyker that I like to go to is over here. Up these stairs where you might have fought from, and just bust out this door. I then like to proceed down here and hang out just around this sort of area. You'll see the destroy target on the map, and he'll slowly be making his way towards us. So we just sort of need to keep an eye on this and wait for him to come and open this door for us. So as you can see, that destroy target is now dead, and we can proceed to lock up that door. I find it a lot easier to let him come to us than us just charge into that room. Especially playing on the harder difficulties, the Psyker can almost one-shot you in a lot of instances if he hits you in the head or the back. So I'll just get rid of that marker by doing that. I'm not sure where that blasty guy went. I think he went behind me. So this is going to get a little problematic here, as I am pinned. So I just want this guy to come back a little bit more. As you can see, warriors are very tough on these harder difficulties. And I am just going to run down now. And we're going to proceed down the right hand side of the room again. unlock doors and do other actions at the same time. You just have to be sure you start by holding X. So we will then proceed down here to these double doors, and you will see another destroy symbol pop up. I like to open whichever door he is closest to. In this case it is going to be the left. And have one person sort of focus on destroying himself, so he doesn't get a psychic blast off. And then you can just proceed to exit straight out the room, and that objective is done. By coming through that way first and collecting the relics, it sort of means you can just open up, shoot, and then close up again. I find this to be a very efficient way to deal with the ciphers on this map. And you can lock up this door now. We can proceed down and around here. As you can see, your stamina does not really last particularly long. That's why I always sort of try to keep a little bit in the tank. I like to lock this door here just so they have to sort of go around. As coming through this passage can be a little bit hectic. And we go around to the right, continue down. And I like to lock this big double door first and fight through the small one. That will funnel everything in the room down to that point behind me, where they're not going to get as good a line of sight on you. And we are just going to wait for that destroy target to come to us. Just clean up a couple of those guys, and as you can see, he's starting to move towards us. And he's just going to come straight through this door for us, hopefully. And of course they want to try to swamp us just there. But that is the destroy target done. So that should open up a portal in this room at that point.
Brothers. One less threat. The virus must
You can lock up that door as you come out, and just use the big double doors to leave.
Xenos.
The only reason I'm really coming in here is this little relic just here. And why I have the portal, I'm going to take the chance to just heal up. Rather than having to use my skills. So we'll then proceed to leave this room as quickly as possible. I'm not too fussed about a couple of shooters or missile launchers on the other end. They're relatively inaccurate. As you can see, whenever I hear him fire, I just sort of sprint that little bit. And you lock up that door behind you. And this door here, and then that is that room pretty much secure. As you can see at close range, heavy stubbers and things can be quite devastating. But at the longer ranges they're fairly inaccurate. So we are going to continue down here. You can lock up that door on the left hand side if you want, but I'm just going to try to come through here as quickly as possible. It depends on your squad composition, as I've said before, and how the mission is running for you. You can get ciphers and broodlords spawn in here. I'd be aware of that and not close that door for the moment. as I've had Broodlords and Ciphers spawn up in this room as I've come to get the Relic. Do take out these turrets while you're here. That's one of the main reasons I actually come this way. Just so I don't have to deal with them on the way back. And then we can just proceed to leave this area. And I would say I can lock this up because I have not heard any sizable opponents. So I'm just going to do that so that they have to run around. And this is another spawn point here that you can feel free to lock up. That'll make it just a little bit easier on you. And we continue straight out down this door. You can pretty much lock all these doors behind you when we return this way. It will not matter if the doors are locked. You'll see why shortly. I'm just not going to spoil the story. So you can lock this next door on the right hand side that is unlocked. I leave it unlocked on the first level just in case I ever have to escape that way. As that ledge up there, you can jump down and come in this way. But as we need that height, we're going to go up. Lock this door. No, I just saw that Cypher spawning in, or Broodlord, sorry. Couldn't tell what he was, thanks to the claw. So yeah, that's why I didn't lock that one up. And we'll just proceed through here. They do like to drop down at unfortunate times. And as you can see, we've got that extra door through here just to lock up and be safe, even though we had to break that up. So I'll take out that turret while it's not looking at us. And of course he's going to get a torso hit on that. You can get them spawning here as well. Ciphers and Broodlords I mean, so be aware of that and try to move through there relatively quickly. And then we are down to the last relic for the map. I'm just going to lock this door so we're secure. And pretty much all enemies will be coming from the front. You should be able to hit the turret from about here. And just take that out as it will be active. Some people do like to go around to the other side of the building once they've collected this. Personally, I prefer to go around to the right of the stairs just here. And we'll come around. That will funnel anything that's coming around this way, as they don't, I know it sounds silly, but they don't jump over the railing. And we're going to keep moving down. And you can feel free to hold here for a few moments, have all your squad skills up. Most of the shooters and the psychers will be grouping up in front of this door, so when I go bang, bang, I'll be able to get a fair chunk of them out of the way fairly quickly. Now you do want to be aware that there is an active turret in there, and I've just moved back a little bit just in case there is enemy psychers in this room. I wanted them to come out and try to get a line of sight on me. Okay, I need to reload. Thankfully the Hellfire is a very good little suppression weapon. Now it looks like we're clear, so I'm just going to run straight through to this door and bash it open. You can shoot out the turret there, but as I'm solo and just being chased, I don't have anybody to watch my back. That is just a lot easier, as you sort of saw. why I still took damage. It was a quicker kill. That is an enemy sight at the shore, so I'm going to try to pepper that. Back away a little bit, make sure he tries to get a line of sight on me if he's still here. I'm not seeing any lightning flashes, so I'm just going to book it for this point. Head to the activate symbol, click it once. You're going to want to head to the center of the room. You can take either side. There's going to be one activation there, one on each corner basically where these little pipes are, so you just want to keep moving around and activating as need be. You can see that there's shooters spawning in to try to stop us. We're not going to get bogged down here, you just want to keep moving and click that off. If you are getting too hurt, you can drop off down the back here. That'll close off the shooter's line of sight. But as you can see, the poison has now been released.
The virus is spreading rapidly. That will delay the accursed xenos. But the war is not yet won. Rendezvous in the next battle zone as swiftly as possible.
So now we are just heading to extraction. There will be no more xenos to fight during this map. The poison will have essentially taken care of them all for you. And that has been the relic locations. You could easily, for instance, save the relics until this point. But the way I've done it is just sort of pick everything up on the way to the objectives so that the mission runs relatively smooth and straightforward. Now, thanks to this poison, we won't even have to deal with that brood lord coming back this way. That turret over there will now be active, but I don't really go through that area. You can and lock up that door, but as you can see, there's nothing chasing you at this point, so I just drop down and bust this door open. We proceed down here, which is the way we just came earlier. And you can see us getting closer to that exit point. You could leave the relic that is in this room and the turrets till this point as well. I just would like to take care of it early, so that as soon as I walk into this I don't have to kill the turrets that are up there. They're a little bit obstructed by the pipes and tubes, as you can see. So I find it easier just to come around that way and do it early. And we're almost to the exit point. So I have been Drake598 Shadow. I'd like to thank you very much for tuning in. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to drop a comment down below and I'll try to help and answer as many as I can. Chapter 7 is one of the harder ones, but it is also one of the most straightforward. I tend to find it a bit of a make or break mission in the first 5 minutes. But it is also one of the quicker missions as well. So again, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you all have a great day.